One of the things I always like to say about investing is you can get some of your best ideas from the people and the things that are around you. So, what are people in your family buying? What is your wife? What is your spouse buying? What do your kids have? What do your kids or grandkids have around them? And there's one that I missed that was incredibly obvious, and that is Squishmallows. To be honest, it never occurred to me that Squishmallows was owned by a company that has been around for decades. Not only that, but the tangled web of Squishmallows and how Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway owns this hot children's toy is just a really strange and interesting story. So that's one of the things I want to dig into today is how Berkshire Hathaway ended up with Squishmallows, how they end up doing this over and over again, owning these really popular, crazy products in this massive conglomerate of a company. And I'll get to one of the more interesting nesting dolls in the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio, and that is how the company owns the Brooks brand of running shoes. My name is Travis Hoium. Thanks for watching Asymmetric Investing. Please subscribe here on YouTube for all my content. And thanks to this video sponsor, The Motley Fool. If you go to fool.com/ASYM, they're going to give you their top 10 stocks to buy right now. So let's just get into Squishmallows. If you don't have small children, you may not know what these are, but these are very popular plush toy right now. They have ended up in McDonald's Happy Meals. They're all over the place in places like Target and Walmart. They're kind of like the new modern Beanie Baby, if you will, all under the Berkshire Hathaway brand. This is the Squishmallows website. You can see here, there's just a ton of options. They go from everything from a really big Squishmallow, which is about this size, all the way down to little handheld products. They make pet beds, mysterious boxes, combo packs. This is the kind of thing that once you start collecting these, oftentimes kids are collecting a ton of them, not just one. But this is not a brand that was just specifically bought by Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett didn't see this company and go, hey, Squishmallows, this is going to be really popular with kids. Squishmallows is part of a company called Jazzwares. Now, Jazzwares is a company that makes all kinds of kids' products. Of course, they highlight their Squishmallows, but they make all kinds of other things for other brands, both for themselves and for other companies. So they make Pokemon products, they make Nerf products, they make Cocomelon, Marvel and Disney, Spidey Friends. This is where Disney generates a lot of money from licensing their content. So this is one of those examples of licensing content to make products that are made by Jazzwares. Again, a Berkshire Hathaway company. So Disney and Berkshire working together. All the way down to Call of Duty, Fortnite, Halo, all kinds of kids products underneath this brand. But again, Berkshire doesn't directly own Jazzwares. It owns the company that owns Jazzwares. And that is, of all companies, Allegheny Corporation. Allegheny is actually an insurance company that was acquired by Berkshire Hathaway. Most of its business supports property and casualty reinsurance and insurance operating subsidiaries. It's a little bit like Berkshire Hathaway, where it has this insurance company that creates the float and the cash flow that ultimately gets invested in all kinds of other things like Jazzwares. And this is a playbook that Berkshire Hathaway has executed over and over again. Thanks to our friends at The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/ASYM for the top 10 stocks to buy right now. I'm going to just go through a couple of the brands that Berkshire Hathaway owns that you may not realize that they're involved in. This is one that is relatively well known. They own Dairy Queen. This has to make you think, why isn't Squishmallows working with Dairy Queen? But something like McDonald's is a much bigger market, so maybe that makes a little bit of sense. They also own the Oriental Trading Company. This is a company that they bought a number of years ago, was a high growth company, but really for today's internet, it's just kind of a random collection of internet products that now lives under the Berkshire Hathaway brand. One of the more interesting ones, and you start looking at these nesting dolls, is actually Brooks Running. So Brooks Running has been around for a long time, and Brooks Running was actually acquired by Russell Athletic makes all kinds of products in the apparel category and in sporting goods, but they were actually acquired by Fruit of the Loom. And Fruit of the Loom is the subsidiary that Berkshire Hathaway directly owns. And so these are those brands that sort of fall under Berkshire Hathaway through this relatively complicated organizational structure. Berkshire Hathaway buys Fruit of the Loom, and then they allow management to make all kinds of decisions like buying Russell and ultimately buying the Brooks brand of shoes. And that's how you get this conglomerate, all of these consumer goods products that Berkshire Hathaway ends up owning at the end of the day, and then ends up being a well-known brand that is owned by Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway. A phenomenally interesting structure and the way that they're able to bring all of these brands together. Berkshire Hathaway does put a list of these companies together on their website. Now, they have a relatively simple website, which I'll show in just a second, but this is just a list of subsidiaries that they have. They don't actually include all of the companies, but this is going to be a majority of them. Duracell, you can see Brooks here, and then this is intertwined with things like the BNSF Railroad, Pilot Travel Centers, See's Candies, Shaw Industries. These are maybe more well-known for people who follow Berkshire Hathaway. They also own a bunch of diamond stores and real estate brokerages, but this is where a lot of these brands fit, is on this page. So if you're ever looking for this, just go to Berkshire Hathaway's website and you can see this links to their subsidiaries right here. So this is one of the reasons that Warren Buffett has been so successful over decades of investing. He's able to invest in buying either entire companies or large public stakes in companies, and then just allow the management team to operate the way that they normally would, make good financial decisions that are ultimately going to return more money to Berkshire Hathaway, parent company, and ultimately shareholders. So that's how you end up with owning companies like Geico, which he has owned for decades now, ultimately buying the entire company. That's a big driver of the float, or the money that he gets to invest in public companies. That's how he ends up with Fruit of the Loom, with Burlington Northern, with Brooks Running, is he's making all of these individual investments saying, hey, I think this company is going to be a good return on investment, and I trust the management to continue to operate that company efficiently. And then each of those individual companies may have a breakout product. And Squishmallows, I think, is an example of that right now. We're seeing this product all over the place. It's not really associated with Berkshire Hathaway, the parent company. It's maybe not even associated with Jazzwares, the company that actually makes those products, because it has its own brand. But ultimately, all these things roll up to Berkshire Hathaway and end up making money for Warren Buffett. So if you're investing in Berkshire Hathaway, you're ultimately saying that Warren Buffett is going to make solid decisions on which companies he's going to acquire, either the full company or major stakes in the company, and then how management is going to run those. That ultimately leads to sort of these random products that you own that may end up going viral. I think that's exactly what we're seeing today. And it will likely happen again in the future, because one of the moats that Buffett oftentimes looks for is companies that have very strong brands. Fruit of the Loom, which especially back when they acquired Fruit of the Loom was one of the biggest brands in retail, had sponsorship deals with Michael Jordan. And now you're seeing Oriental Trading, Brooks, Dairy Queen, Squishmallows also follow in those footsteps of those brands that came before them. It seems like there's always more to be finding out about Berkshire Hathaway, and this one still amazes me. What do you think about Berkshire Hathaway's brands that they own, their structure, and how this ends up playing out for investors? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to Asymmetric Investing. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you here next time.